Hello, welcome back to English 1110 Online. You've made it to week 2, congratulations. So we have a couple of things that we're going to be digging into this week. First of all, we're going to be talking more about the course theme, Rhetoric and Advertising. We're going to analyze some ads. We're also going to be talking about ethos and pathos and logos, the rhetorical triangle, which you may remember from your reading already if you're an early bird. And we're going to be talking about audience and purpose and the keys to good writing. That's the first set of things we're going to talk about. Number 2, we're going to talk about intellectual property. How do you ethically use other people's images, and how do you find these images on the internet? So buckle in, we're going to get rolling. In your reading this week, you read about the difference between composition and writing. To recap, writing is a type of composition. But composition encompasses a variety of rhetorical tasks that we engage in to accomplish a rhetorical goal. So this video right here that I'm making for you, it is a composition. It included writing, but it also includes me thinking about things like, what do I wear to establish my ethos? How do I communicate best with you? You as my audience, what are your needs? How do I anticipate those needs? What rhetorical moves are appropriate in this context, a classroom-based video? So some of you have heard of ethos, pathos, and logos, the rhetorical triangle. This originated with dead Greek guys, Socrates, and we're going to talk through some examples of ethos, pathos, and logos and how you can start spotting them in videos. Ethos, pathos, and logos together are the rhetorical triangle, and they are tools that are used for persuasion. Ethos is an attempt to appeal to your audience's trust by building your credibility. Pathos is your attempt to appeal to your audience's emotions. You might do that by making them feel warm and fuzzy, or making them feel fear and encouraging them to rise to action. Logos is using facts and evidence to support your argument in an organized and thoughtful way. This toothpaste advertisement relies primarily on ethos and logos to persuade. The woman is wearing a lab coat. You can see her name is Dr. Alexander Smith, so she seems to know what she's talking about. We believe her when she says that this toothpaste is good. You also see logos being used with the use of evidence. This is the #1 dentist recommended brand. There's some pathos in the graphic design. You see a lot of white and cool blues, which gives us a sense of cleanliness and makes us feel fresh, which are the feelings the advertisers want us to associate with the toothpaste. Apply ethos, pathos, and logos to this Coca-Cola ad. How are ethos, pathos, and logos deployed? What strategies do you think are used the most? How do you see these strategies used in the text and in the graphic design? Our textbook fairly thoroughly covers issues of intellectual property and sourcing images for the symposium. But I'm going to go over it briefly. If you feel like you have a handle on it, feel free to skip to the next section. Copyright is a series of laws that protect people's intellectual property, and intellectual property is a creative product that you produce that is original to you. So fair use is a series of clauses that helps us figure out how we can ethically and legally use someone else's intellectual property. There are 4 questions that help us decide how ethical it is to use somebody's work. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but these principles help me think about fair use. There are 4 questions you might ask yourself when determining whether your use of somebody's intellectual property falls under fair use. #1, are you just copying it, or are you trying to say something about the work you're using? You want to make sure you are saying something about the work. It can be a review or an analysis or a commentary. #2, is the work you're using from something published and recognizable, or you're borrowing from an obscure artist? It is more acceptable if it's something large and recognizable. And are you borrowing a huge part of the work or just a little piece? If you're using a little piece, Is it the most important part? And number four, are you impacting the artist's ability to make money off of his or her creation? Of course, it's less ethical if you are impacting his or her ability to make money. Creative Commons, on the other hand, is a series of licenses that artists use when they decide they would like to share their work. There are 4 different tags attached to these licenses. These tags tell you how the artist would like his or her work used. All artists like to be attributed. They want you to say where you got the work. Some will allow you to change the work. Some insist that you use it wholly unchanged. Some are comfortable with you using the work to make money. Others insist on non-commercial use only. And some insist that you share whatever work you create from their work. So the last thing we're going to talk about are your assignments for the week. You have 2. Number 1, make sure you engage with that discussion forum. There are a variety of questions that you can choose to engage with. You could either write a post or you can respond to other people's posts. Remember, you need to post 3 times, so you can do a mix of those things. And you don't need to engage with all of the questions. Just engage with the ones that seem interesting or productive to you. Number 2, you're going to be writing your first process post. You'll find the full prompt in the assignments, but essentially you're going to be looking at some projects that are going to be a lot like your symposium presentation, TED Talks, Pachakachas, etc. And you're going to be thinking about what sorts of primary sources might be useful for you in this class. Now, you know you're going to be analyzing advertisements, so think about what ads might be useful. They might have a lot of cultural capital and complexity, something that you can really dig into and understand. I look forward to seeing you on the discussion forum.